Calculating the break-even point in any business is a really useful tool because it's a starting point to help understand profit scenarios within your business. So what is break-even point? Well, quite simply, it's a level of sales that you need to incur in order to exactly cover your costs. So you're not making any profit, but you're not making a loss either. Now, of course, that's not exactly an inspirational sales target, but it's a very, very useful starting point to help you make well-informed decisions about costs and revenues within your business. Before we look at how to calculate break-even point, I'd first like to explain some attributes of profit and loss statement. So to kick off, obviously we have sales, which is fairly self-explanatory, and then we have cost of sales. Now, cost of sales are any costs that you incur that are directly related to generating those sales there. So if, for example, you're a concreter, those cost of sales are likely to be sand, cement, aggregate, possibly subcontractors that you've employed them to help you get a job done. So an attribute of them is that if you're making a lot of sales, you're going to have a lot of cost of sales. But if you're making no sales, you're going to have no cost of sales. So they are variable with your level of sales. And when we take cost of sales away from sales, we're left with gross profit, which is what we've got left to pay overheads and hopefully have some profit left at the end of the day for you as a business owner. Gross profit is often expressed in percentage terms, and that's expressed as a percentage of sales. And the way you calculate that is in dollars, gross profit over sales, which of course equals 600, or 1,000, which equals 60%. So what that means is that for every dollar of sales that you generate, there's 60 cents left available to cover your overheads and make a profit. What are your overheads? Well, your overheads are essentially the fixed cost of doing business, and they remain consistent really from period to period, regardless of the volume of sales that you're making. So they might include, for example, your rent, your utilities expense, possibly insurance and payroll costs if you've got a permanent payroll. So they're fairly consistent. So a characteristic of them is that they are fixed from period to period. So after we've taken the overheads away from the gross profit, we end up with an operating profit here. How do we use this information to calculate break-even point? Well, very, very easy. So break-even is equal to your operating costs over your GP percentage, which is equal to 500 over 60%, which is equal to $833. So for this business, with this cost structure, the break-even sales is $833, and we can check that because we know that for every dollar of sales, 60% or 6 cents is going to be available to cover our fixed cost. You multiply 833 by 60%, you're going to get $500, which will exactly cover your overheads and make zero profit. So that's how you calculate your break-even point, and in another video I'll explain to you how you can use it to help make decisions about profitability in your business.